Hello, student mentors. My name is Rachel. I am a sexual assault advocate and I lead prevention work out of our Waterloo Riverview Center office. I'm so excited to be here with you today to open up a conversation about sexual assault, what dating violence is, what it looks like, how you know if someone you care about is in an unhealthy relationship, and talking about disclosures, how you can handle or talk to someone who is disclosing to you that they've been harmed or affected by sexual assault. Now, before we dive into that, I want to first talk about the services that Riverview Center provides for our schools, students, and our community members. So, at Riverview Center, we provide free and confidential advocacy services for anyone who's been affected by sexual assault. Whether it happened 30 years ago or 30 hours ago, we are here to provide support to anyone, whether someone themselves have been affected by sexual assault or a friend or family member, a loved one knows someone who's been hurt by sexual assault. They can also have services as well and talk to someone if they would like to. Now, at Riverview Center, we have different types of advocacy services. We have medical, legal, and general advocacy. So, our staff are on call 24/7. So if someone has been affected by sexual assault and they want to get a sexual assault exam, they can go to any emergency room and request that kit, that exam. It is completely free in the state of Iowa, and that includes all the medications that come with it as well, if they would like the medications. So when we're on call, when someone goes to that emergency room, we will be called out to that ER and we will provide them with support. Make sure they know all of their options and their rights, and make sure their rights are being protected every step of the way. We can also help with legal advocacy if they want to talk to anyone within law enforcement, such as police or investigator. We can provide them with that support, make sure they know all of their options and their rights, and make sure their rights are being protected every step of the way. And help make sure that they know what's going on, because sometimes with our legal system it can be a little confusing. So we're definitely here to help support. We also provide general advocacy, so if someone needs help accessing resources in our community, we are more than happy to help initiate conversations or help find those resources for anyone that we support. Everything, like I said, is free and it's very confidential. So all of our advocates are called permissive reporters. We don't have any mandatory reporters except for therapists, which I'll talk about, because of their licensing. So what I mean by an advocate, first of all, is we are here to provide support, make sure everyone knows all of their options and their rights, and help make sure that they know that anything that they want to do, that we support them and we will help them. So sometimes that means meeting their basic needs, or if they want help talking to someone, we can definitely help initiate those conversations. We just need an authorization for release so that we can help them out. Now, like I said, we also have peer counseling. So if someone would like to talk one-on-one with an advocate in a safe and judgment-free zone, they definitely can. We will be here to help process and to open up conversations in a way where they can talk to us about anything that they would like to without feeling judged. But at the same time, if someone doesn't want to share anything, we will never make anyone share anything with us that they don't want to. Now, if someone is thinking, peer counseling, that sounds great, but I think I need something a little bit more than that. I think I need therapy. We also have therapists in our office as well. Our therapists are also free and they're confidential. Now, like I said, they are mandatory reporters due to their licensing, but they are still free and they're still available for support. We also have prevention education and trainings, and we have a 24-hour hotline. So if something happened early in the morning or late at night and someone feels affected and they want to talk to someone, you can definitely call our 24-hour hotline. There are trained individuals on the other end of that line who are here to help and are very supportive and are there to talk to anyone who feels like they need support. So that is all of our services. If anyone has any questions, you can always contact us. You can always call our phones. Our office number is 319 939-9599, and we are located in Waterloo, but we have offices all over Northeast Iowa and 2 in Illinois. Now that I have finished talking about our services, let's dive into our topics of conversation today. So we're going to be talking about sexual assault and dating violence. So sometimes these conversations, these topics can be triggering or affect individuals because they can be hard for us to talk about or to hear. So if you feel affected in any way, feel free to pause this video and come back to it whenever you feel ready, or you can also reach out to us at any time. Now, sexual assault means that it's any unwanted or forced sexual contact or behavior. So we use sexual assault as an umbrella term because it can mean many different things. Oftentimes when we think of sexual assault, we think of rape. Now, rape is definitely part of sexual assault, but it can also be any unwanted or forced behavior or contact. So touching someone in a way that they don't consent to. It could be forcing someone to do any acts that they don't want to. It could be sexual harassment. So sexual assault can be verbal. It can be fondling, or it could be anything that someone does not provide consent to. Now, consent is so important. We need that every day. Consent means that you are agreeing to something. So there's different components of consent. So when you are agreeing to something, you are saying yes, right? You want this to happen. Now, sometimes someone might feel pressured or coerced, which is a bigger word for peer pressure. But when someone uses coercion tactics, they are forcing or pressuring or making someone do something that they don't want to do. They feel uncomfortable. They're not ready for it. So if someone is ever feeling like they have to say yes in order to get through a situation safely, that is not providing true consent. True consent means that you actively want to do something. You don't feel pressured. You don't feel forced. You aren't scared. Now, when it comes to consent, it is reversible. So anyone can agree to anything at any time and also take away that consent at any time. So if something has just started or right before anything has started, anytime that someone says no, or I want to stop, or I don't think I want to continue, or anything along those lines, as soon as someone says that, their partner or partners need to stop, because anything more would be not respecting their wishes, their boundaries. Then that would be crossing the line into sexual assault. Now, sexual assault also with consent, it means that with another component, it means that someone is not inebriated due to drugs or alcohol. And that's really important to know, because in the state of Iowa, an individual cannot provide consent if they are inebriated by drugs or alcohol. So in Iowa, and in every state in the United States, we have consent laws. So in the state of Iowa, anyone can provide consent as long as they are 16 years old or older. Now, when someone is 16, they can consent to anyone who is 18, 20, 30. I think you're picking up what I'm laying down, right? You need to be 16 in order to, and it needs to be willing, it needs to be consensual to provide that consent. Now, we do have what are called age restriction laws, and every state are going to have different variations of these age restriction laws as well. But in Iowa, if someone is 14 or 15, they can also provide consent. However, an individual who is 14 or 15 cannot provide consent who is 4 years older than them. So a 14-year-old cannot provide consent to an 18-year-old, or a 15-year-old cannot provide consent to a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old. So that also means that a parent or a legal guardian can press charges on that 14 or 15-year-old's behalf if they believe that the act was not consensual. But when someone is 16, then that whether they want to press charges is completely up to them, because they're the legal age of consent. Now, sexual assault and not giving consent or not giving someone the capability of providing consent is just one aspect of an unhealthy relationship. It's not always obvious that you're in an abusive relationship or to see if someone that you know or care about is in an unhealthy relationship. So we're going to talk about some key signs of dating violence, what to look out for, what it can look like and sound like, and so that you can see for yourself. Now, dating violence, some key signs includes possessiveness. So your partner is checking in on you all the time, needing to know who you're with, where you're at, and what you're doing. They might constantly call or text you, check in on you through social media. If they need to know your passwords for social media and they make you give you those passwords. It can also be constant put downs, belittling, making fun of someone or of their beliefs, or making them feel bad about themselves, picking on insecurities. It can also be ignoring any boundaries that anyone has, whether they are emotional or physical or sexual. No one should be ever ignoring our boundaries. Manipulating someone, making them dress a certain way or look like something that they don't want to, falsely accusing someone of doing something or cheating on them. It can also be restricting contact with family members or friends, beginning that isolation stage, getting you away from your friends or your family members, from your support system. It can be touching you in public or in any way that you don't feel comfortable with, or controlling and manipulating or making you feel bad or scared about anything. Now, when it comes to all of these warning signs, remember, it's not always easy to see, and we might not always realize that we're in an unhealthy relationship because maybe they don't do it all the time, or people believe that things will get better, or they didn't mean it. Now, when it comes to all of this, it can be really confusing, so don't hesitate to ever talk to someone. Such as a friend, a family member, a trusted an adult like a teacher or instructor, school counselor. There's many individuals who you can definitely reach out to for support, including Riverview Center. Now, if someone ever feels like they're in an unhealthy relationship or they want to reach out to someone, then they can definitely reach out to anyone that they feel comfortable with. Chances are when someone discloses that they might be telling someone for the first time. So there are some helpful things to know about disclosures, such as like what you can do and what you should avoid during disclosures as well. So like I said, I have worksheets. So if you are paying attention, you are now on the handout of how to respond to disclosures of sexual assault. Now, some things that you can do and that you should do is, first of all, remain calm. Be aware of your facial expressions and your body language. Because sometimes if we feel angry, then that can show on our face or in our body language. And we don't want anyone to ever think that we're angry at them, because then they might think that the abuse that they've endured is their fault. And we don't want that. So be open and honest. Don't judge them. Don't blame them for anything that they've went through or that they're sharing with them. And then think to yourself, what are your resources? Who are some other individuals that you can reach out to? Maybe Riverview Center. Now, some things to avoid would be denial, not believing them because maybe that person their abuser has never done anything to you. Now, when it comes to dating violence or intimate partner violence, these things can thrive in secrecy. So oftentimes we're not going to see these things happening in public. Some things that's easy to see for us would be like hitting or pushing someone, some physical indicators, maybe like bruises, things like that, but that's not always the case when it comes to dating violence. Individuals might not always have those things. So it's really important that even if we haven't seen it ourselves, that we still believe the survivor when they're sharing that information with us. We don't ask them too many questions or express any anger or panic. Blame the survivor for anything that they've gone through by asking questions such as, what were you wearing? What did you do to start the abuse? And then making any promises that you can't keep, such as, I promise you never have to tell anyone else this ever again, or anything like that as well. Now, some things that you can say, because it can be difficult if a family member or a friend, a teammate, someone that you might care about, is telling you these things, that they've been hurt. So remember, remain calm. There's a couple key phrases that you can say, such as, I believe you. What happened is not your fault. I'm here for you. You're so brave for telling me. And what can I do to help you? Making sure that they know that you are here to support them and you're not telling them what to do or how to feel or what to think. So by doing those things, you can definitely help support anyone. Now, if anyone has any questions, like I said, you can always contact me or anyone at Riverview Center for anything. So I have given you our number at the beginning of the video. Feel free to reach out and call us and ask any questions if you need anything. Otherwise, you can also email me at rachel@riverviewcenter.org. So thank you all so much. I hope that this has helped. And like I said, if you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you and have a great day.